Hey, what's going on, folks? This your boy New Jack coming at you live. And before I start this video, I want to give a huge shout out to my Kansas Jayhawks on their win against the Oklahoma Sooners last night in basketball. The number 1 seeded Jayhawks went up against the number 2 seeded Sooners. And that was a classic game. I enjoyed it. But I just loved to watch the Oklahoma Sooners get their first loss from us Jayhawks last night. But huge shout out to the Kansas Jayhawks on their victory to remain number 1 in the nation. Now let's talk about some football, shall we? The NFL playoffs are finally here. Wild card weekend. On Saturday, we have the AFC teams squaring off. Kansas City versus Houston, and the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And on Sunday, we have the NFC teams squaring off. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Seattle Seahawks, and the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Redskins. I'm looking forward into watching these playoff matchups. I'm going to make my predictions on all 4 playoff games on Wild Card Weekend. The first game, Kansas City versus Houston. The Kansas City Chiefs are on a hot streak. They started the season with a 1-5 record. Ever since then, they have won 10 games in a row. They are playing some really good football. Houston has a really good defense led by J.J. Watt and company. In this game, I'm going to have to say that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game. I believe Alex Smith is going to have a really good game. I mean, let's face it. Houston doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, they have Brian Hoyer and Brandon Whedon. Really? I mean, come on, stop it. The Kansas City Chiefs will win this game. My final score prediction: Kansas City 23, the Houston Texans 17. I believe this will be a low-scoring game, and I have Kansas City winning this game. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this football game. The second game, Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati will be without their starting quarterback, Andy Dalton. He has been ruled out. Here comes in backup quarterback, A.J. McCarron. He will start against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are playing some good football. They have a lot of weapons with Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and running back D'Angelo Williams. He is still questionable for Saturday's game, but I believe D'Angelo will play this Saturday. Without Andy Dalton for the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't see them defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And like I said, Pittsburgh has too many weapons, and everybody is healthy. For Cincinnati, Without Andy Dalton, I don't see them defeating Pittsburgh. My final score prediction: Pittsburgh 27, Cincinnati 20. I still believe that Cincinnati will give them a good game and play them very well since they're at home. But like I said, without Andy Dalton, I don't think they have a chance against Pittsburgh. So I have the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Cincinnati Bengals 27-20. And for the NFC wildcard games on Sunday, the first game, Seattle versus Minnesota. Now they're saying it's going to be cold as hell in Minnesota on Sunday. They're talking about below 10 damn degrees on Sunday in Minnesota. So whoever has tickets to go to this game, make sure you're wearing 3 jackets and a coat if you're going to this game, because it's going to be cold as hell. Below 10 damn degrees. Now that's cold. Now, back to the game. This is going to be a low-scoring game, I believe. It's going to be more of a defensive battle. Now, if Adrian Peterson gets off to a hot start, look out. It can go either way. But I believe that Seattle's quarterback, Russell Wilson, is going to be the X factor in this game. He is second on my list behind Cam Newton to get the NFL MVP. Of course, I have Cam number 1 and I have Russell Wilson number 2. Like I said earlier, I believe this is going to be a defensive battle between these two teams. It's going to be cold as hell. Toward the end, I have the Seattle Seahawks defeating the Minnesota Vikings. My final score prediction: Seattle 13, Minnesota 10. So I have the Seattle Seahawks defeating the Minnesota Vikings. And the last wildcard game, Green Bay versus Washington. Kirk Cousins is playing out of his mind. I repeat, Kirk Cousins is playing out of his mind. Now, I know a lot of y'all are going to agree with me of what I'm about to say. Does it seem like Kirk Cousins is looking like the Aaron Rodgers we saw last year? And doesn't it look like Aaron Rodgers is playing like the Kirk Cousins we all seen play last year? I mean, it just seemed like they changed bodies. Don't it seem like that? It seemed like Kirk Cousins is looking like the old Aaron Rodgers, and the Aaron Rodgers is looking like the old Kirk Cousins. And it seemed like they just changed bodies, changed souls, or I don't know what's going on. I don't know who is who. But Kirk Cousins is playing like Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is playing like Kirk Cousins. I'm going to leave it like that. The Washington Redskins versus the Green Bay Packers. In this game, I'm going to have to say that the Washington Redskins are going to defeat the Green Bay Packers. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this Green Bay team. They're not the team we've saw the first 6 games of the season, which they were 6-0. After that, they just went downhill. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what's up with him. He is not the Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing. The bad man. He is not the bad man we're used to seeing. Kirk Cousins is outperforming Aaron Rodgers. And it's really hard for me to say that, but it's the truth. Kirk Cousins is playing better football than Aaron Rodgers. It's the truth. All I have to say is this. I believe Washington is going to run over the Green Bay Packers. I think Washington is playing on another level. I believe they are hungry. People are still doubting them. In the playoffs, they won the NFC East, and people doubted them winning the NFC East. And I was one of them. Of me being an Eagles fan, everybody doubted the Washington Redskins. Now they're in the playoffs, people are still doubting this team. I'm not going to doubt the Washington Redskins, not this week, against a downhill Green Bay Packers team. I really believe that the Washington Redskins are going to defeat the Green Bay Packers. My final score prediction. I have Washington winning 31-23. Redskins 31, Packers 23. I believe Kirk Cousins is going to have a really good game and carry this football team and come out with a W. You like that? You like that. So I have the Washington Redskins defeating the Green Bay Packers. So for my NFL divisional playoff round, looks like this. Out of the AFC, I have the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the New England Patriots, and the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Denver Broncos. Out of the NFC, I have the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Carolina Panthers, and the Washington Redskins versus the Arizona Cardinals. I hope y'all enjoyed this. There's more videos coming at y'all this week, so y'all stay tuned. But in the meantime, y'all take care. Enjoy Wild Card Weekend. And make it hard.